I'm here on the 7th floor at Lennons Hotel yet again on Queen Street in Brisbane with the gorgeous Burner King, a very dear friend of mine who's joined us for the show tonight. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Dear old thing, rocketing around the countryside.
You are. Look, he's just doing so much stuff. There's action-packed tonight, but we're going to catch up with what you've been doing since we saw you last August.
Oh, I've been to America since then.
What happened over there?
And to Cairns and to Port Douglas and, oh, wonderful adventures. In America, I took advantage of an invitation to appear on an American pot of gold as the judge. And
your infamy spread internationally.
There's a whole cult, a whole Burner King cult there. Remember when the Late Show revived segments of Pot of Gold and stirred a lot of excitement and interest again? An American producer, a young one, was here in Australia and got all excited about this. And suddenly he decided he should have a similar program there. So he rang the Village Roadshow people and said, can you find Burner King? They distribute his films. Excuse me. And so help me, one of the girls who works at Village Roadshow is the daughter of one of my great friends. So she put up her hand and said, he's practically my Uncle Bernard. He officiated at several of my father's weddings as the master of ceremonies. I can find him within an hour. So within an hour I had the call. And, you know, it was a fantasy call. You think, oh, this will never happen. And naturally,
yes, we all had calls like
being
that.
an old freelance entertainer, you say yes to everything and some of them come good. Yes, I'll come to LA. And so help me, it all happened. So I stretched the ticket. I took advantage of the ticket to go to Las Vegas to spend time with a great old Queensland friend who now lives in Las Vegas, Barry Ferber, who was the general manager of 4GG for a great many years on Gold Coast. And he's now set up, and he's the promotions and general manager of an airline in Las Vegas. So I went to visit with him and see 8 shows in 7 nights. Then I went on to New York and to Broadway, where I saw 8 shows in 7 days. Then back to LA to do the Pot of Gold stint, which was quite extraordinary. Americans are just amazing people. Poolside, in the afternoon that I was there having a quiet cocktail, they totally transformed that side of the pool to a complete stage, with a floor, with a backdrop, lighting mounted on the beams of the house to light the whole thing. Orchestra moved in, caterers moved in, and young Hollywood hopefuls appeared. I must tell you two funny segments. Okay. Danny DeVito appeared. He'd played in a film with his producer, and had played the piano. Very bad. So I said to him, he knew nothing of Burner King, the adjudicator. So I said, no, I just love concert piano. I'm dedicated to the keyboard. It's one of my favorite forms of the arts. However, I said, respectfully, I suggest to you that before you do your next major public appearance, would you wait till you graduate past grade 3? And he was so disgusted, he left the party.
Did he call you an adjudicator? What did he expect? If only you'd known who he was talking to. Is it often that how does it feel to be over there and have no one know you? We're here, everybody knows you. Must be.
Most of the people did know me. Because the man wanted them to perform, he let them know they were facing the infamous Burner King. One girl, pretty blonde girl, appeared on the stage. They had a compere and all the... I was seated on a throne to do all this. And this very attractive blonde, typical Californian blonde, suntanned hair, perfect teeth, recently installed, and the trim tone gym body, you know, you can tell there's a touch of muscle.
Unlike mine.
Like yours, don't you?
Oh.
Touch of muscle to the arm, you know, the shoulder blade.
Right.
And she said to me, Mr. King, I can tell a joke or I can sing a song. Sorry, that accent's wrong, Bernard. I can tell a joke or I can sing a song. I said, I don't think we have a particular time limit on this segment, so why don't you do both? And when she had done her little performance, I said, I don't see your future as a comedian, and frankly, I don't really see many prospects for you as a cabaret entertainer with that voice. However, recently it's come to my knowledge that there are vacancies in the Oval Office. Why don't you apply for that? Monica's not there anymore. Well, everybody fell down laughing, and there was huge applause from the crowd. And I was delighted and slightly mystified. After the show, the producer, my host, said to me, how did you know about her? I said, which her? The girl who told a joke and sang a song. I said, I didn't know anything about her. They knew about me, but I didn't know about them. He said she graduated to legitimate film from pornography. So she had sucked her way to the stars.
And nearly made her way to the White House with your suggestion. Speaking of Pot of Gold, one thing I've always wondered, when you did it here for all those years with Tommy Hanlon and all the guests, judges that would come, did anyone from Pot of Gold ever go on to stardom?
If you have enough history of Brisbane town, that particular series began as New Faces here on Channel O. With David Jull.
No, I didn't remember.
Bill Gates was the first compere. I survived about 5 compares. David Jull took over. Billy J. Smith was compared.
Oh, yes, I know him.
The very first winner of the first series, compared by Bill Gates, who was a radio personality, found a woman called Geraldine Turner.
Do you know that? I bet she's watching and saying, no, don't tell anymore, don't say anymore.
In fact, I suggested to the Grundy organisation who mounted the Pot of Gold and travelled that off as a national daytime series, we should now, in hindsight, review some of the old episodes and pick out those who are still performing. Margie de Ferranti, a group called Triple Treat, Joey Firmano. There's a very long list of people who took that television step as the rung, the first rung of the ladder to somewhere, and a great many of these young kids. I'll go to a function, for instance, when I went to see Tap Dogs, that fabulous Dean Perry tap routine, here at the Tivoli. I'm having a drink with the boys after the show, naturally the Dean. 5 of those boys had been on Pot of Gold. And each of them had come from the Griffith School of Tap Dance in Newcastle, and I identified where they came from on the set. I said, I know who your teacher is.
Well, you're actually very good at that, even picking choreographers. You are very good.
Yes.
But like, I think people aren't, I mean, I tend to forget too, because I used to sit up and watch it at 2:30 with Tommy Hanlon every afternoon, that all we saw you as was the nasty, evil judge that would get
no, I was lovely to people.
You.
I let them know that they should go home.
Well, I guess it depends how you look at it, but we forget that perhaps there were people that went on to something bigger.
Oh, yes,
which is
indeed.
good to be told.
There was a woman appeared on the show, doing a Marlene Dietrich impression. Good-looking, tall, slender matron in a silver lame gown. And she did the traditional falling in love again.
Actually, you had that, didn't you, James?
Wanted to.
We tried that at home the other night.
And I said to her, I don't think the world is ready for an older than Marlena. And at the time, Marlena was still living. However, I said, you're a very good-looking woman. And I've just heard that they're looking for extras on the set of The Man from Snowy River, and they don't have enough mature people. All the young actors and actresses were auditioning, but they didn't have any grown-ups. So I said, why don't you get yourself an agent very quickly and get yourself an audition? She did 6 weeks of filming, sitting in a rocking chair on a veranda, up in the Snowy Mountains, and I ran into her again in the Silver Lame, how could you forget it, but now with the Arctic fox fur, at a Mo Awards glamour night in Sydney, and she said to me, Bernard, I don't suppose you'd remember me. I said, yes I do. Your name is either Xenia or Zelda, it has a Z, and you do Marlene Dietrich impressions. She said, yes, it's Xenia, and you told me to get myself cast as an extra. This year I've earned $26,000 as an extra. The next year she got the role of Rice Power, pow, 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 the grandmother riding the bicycle on the rice ash. She's now comfortably retired. She's hung up her Marlene.
Thanks to you. I know, I'm sure Marlene is not turning in a grave any longer. Terrible things. Now, apart from that, all that stuff in America, you've been, look, I spoke to Bernard last night, busy. This man travels more of Australia than an airline pilot. Traversing from north to south, east to west. Even we heard about Gelton with a lamb, but you can't hear that story, it's too rude. But how do you do it? Like, it must be fabulous to sort of come through this great pathway of work you've got and just keep going. It's fantastic.
It's a bit hectic at times. In the last couple of weeks I've been Sydney, Hamilton Island 2 nights, back to Sydney 2 nights, Sydney, Cairns 3 nights, to open at the Outrigger Resort a beautiful, gorgeous restaurant called Raffles. I cut the ribbon for them. Then we went to the Morkless restaurant at Port Douglas for dinner, the most exquisite experience any grown-up can have in the world. Then we came back to Cairns, went to Double Island.
Yes, you were saying.
Janet Holmes at Port Island, magnificent resort for a couple of days at leisure, where the chef just fussed and cooked magnificent crab and seafood. Then we went back to Cairns for a few minutes, and I did a guest speaking stint for a kind of morning club group Then I had a couple of days totally at leisure at a girlfriend's house up at Kuranda. Then back to Brisbane, and we've just done 4 trips to Toowoomba for the big home show. We were the food ingredient, my 2 pretty young boys and I.
The Bernadettes back there in the spa, they're waiting to give us a rub down after we're here, aren't they? They're getting warmed up, they're having a rough one. Hi boys.
Hi. Good morning, girls.
They're saying hello, Breeze, if you can't hear them. They're drinking champagne in the water. I actually took one of my makeup things.
We have a croissant.
Oh, just in the water? In the water? With cream or without?
No cream in the water.
Is it homemade?
Oh, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll ask the cow. I'll ask the cow. So, great to see you. And isn't it good of Bernard to actually spare half an hour of his time in all his
My
busy
great
schedule?
pleasure. And we're off to Sydney today.
Back home.
Back to organise. The next trips are Mackay for a food festival. See, Australia has all these events now, and I'm the only one who can talk. So
You started them all. That's why you do them.
When you think about it, then we have the Sunshine Coast coming up, and in between times some more Burton show to do, some television commercials to shoot, and the repair of the house at Kosovo, Kensington.
Oh, for the storm in Sydney. That's almost another story in itself. You were just that roof gone. Pummeled.
2,800 houses in Kensington area, totally unroofed in the storm. And you just have to say to yourself, when you see film clips of what's happening in Middle Europe, we're well off.
Oh yeah, we are.
Bad, but we're well off.
I love living here though.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful.
Hello, Brisbane, I love it.
Oh, Brisbane, and I love it too, even though I'm from Sydney. And I'll see you, well, we'll be back with you after the ad break, but I'll see you in Sydney soon, hopefully. And we'll be back very soon. Sprung! Oh, God, can't eat on camera. Do you believe in ghosts?
I've only ever had one ghost-like experience. I was staying in the very old homestead of friends of mine, way west of Mackay, in the old part of the house. Probably one of the oldest homesteads in the whole of the nation. And they jokingly had said to me, before I tucked my pretty head beneath the clothes, watch out for the ghost of Mrs. Feister, Fiedler, the name. And so help me, I'm convinced that through the night I woke, and indeed there was a shadow drifting across the wall. She was a happy ghost. She liked to see that the house was still populated by people who were enjoying living, and indeed the people with whom I was staying were enjoying. They were all related to her. She was probably the great-great-great-grandmother. There was no misery attached to the story, but I was convinced that I just sat up in bed and I thought, hello dear, I'm having a lovely time too, I hope you are.
The coffee up here at Lennons is gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah.
So are these croissants. Look, I'm going to put on so much weight eating here. Bernard referred to me.
No. Once you've opened a croissant,
yes,
all the calories leach out.
Oh, okay.
They're non-fattening.
Thank you.
If you put the whole croissant in your mouth,
you've had it.
And eat it all at one time, it's very fattening. But once you've torn it open and the cream is whipped so you've flogged all the calories away.
Oh, and the jam?
Absolutely guaranteed no fat.
Oh, pure fruit, obviously. And he referred to me as ample last night, didn't you, Bernard? It's a very nice choice of words. I'd say a bit overweight might be a better term. Bernard, thanks for joining us today. It's been, they're out, ready for the massage. Oh, no, cover it up. I can't stand it. Just look at our future. That's my future.
Aren't they pretty?
Look, Esther Williams eat your heart out. I bet she didn't have to pluck as well as that. Thank you for joining us today.
My great pleasure.
Look, it was great fun up here at Lennons Hotel. We'll see you again next week. I figure I don't know who's on, but look, you'd enjoy whoever it is. We really must smack that naughty clock that says it's time to go. But we'll be back again next week, same time, same place, with a brand new show. And thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll be all back again next week to see you again with something else crazy happening. And look, great announcements coming up. In fact, you might have actually seen one tonight. Yes, it's true. It really is happening if you saw it. And we'll see you then. And cut! Oh, an impromptu audience. I love it. I haven't clapped for months. Thanks, guys.